Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check fresh release from ICM. It is molded in 1/32 scale, and this kit copies Gloster Gladiator Mk.II, so as you can guess, this is a new release in big scale, and you will get a chance to assemble World War II British fighter biplane. You can see it on the box art here. We have the commercial sample, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you will see in this video review, and now we are going to open it and check what is hidden inside. But first of all, here is comparison with my hand, so it's a typical box size for this brand. Then on the side here we have some information about the kit, so there are 140 parts for assembly of the aircraft, and wingspan will be equal to 307 millimeters, which is quite impressive, I would say. Even though this is a 1/32 scale, still it should be big model. Here you can see the same profile as what we have on the box art, but I can guess that we have more marking options included inside. Box design is typical for ICM, so here you can see we have color printed top lid, which is quite flexible, but then we have sturdy white cardboard box, which is actually protecting all our parts inside. Here is what we have inside. Assembly manual is on the top, then we have plastic sprues. Obviously we'll start with plastic, and then we will continue with various bonuses which are included here. So just give me a second, I need to, let's say, put it somehow on my table, and then we will start with this. So all frames come in the single plastic bag. I'm now opening it. Okay, so first plastic sprue here, it is dedicated to wing parts. Let's zoom in a bit so that you can see them closer, and maybe even a bit more. So here they are. All those wings look quite nice. I mean, we have here traditional external detailing like recessed panel lines and also carefully copied fabric surface. We have also landing gear wheels which should be glued out of two halves. We have some cockpit parts. Here you can see instrument panel, wing struts. Actually these are for the landing gear, but if you flip it over, here you can notice that we also have guiding pins for wing parts, which is really cool because these are really huge parts. Here you can see comparison with my hand, so you will have to be careful while joining them together, and such a design will be handy for a proper assembly without any extra issues. Okay. Next we go on with new plastic sprue, so I guess this one will be used in today's build. Here we have new propeller, also new instrument panel, and some other external elements which will be applied on this aircraft. Let's flip it over. Here you can see it from another side. Really cool to see such big propeller attached on one attachment point. It is really nice, and it should speed up the assembly process and also help you avoid any unnecessary damage. Next we continue with another plastic sprue. So here you can see old propeller which had two blades. Let's zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see it, so here it is. Obviously it won't be needed in this version, but the engine here is quite nice, so I recommend to spend some time painting and weathering it. Let's zoom in a bit so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Here it is. We also have the cockpit frames. Here is one and here is the second one. And engine parts, again, I mean, they look really impressive. Engine blocks should be glued out of two halves. Here you can see them from another side. And I mean, to get such parts out of the box for this price, it's really cool. So don't be lazy, spend some time painting and weathering it, and you'll be rewarded with a really nice result. Okay, next we go on with this plastic sprue. So here we have wing parts. This, I guess, a top wing, so it should be just the two halves glued together. We also have cowling parts. We have the tail surfaces here, and again, overall molding quality and detailing is on the same level. We can flip it over. Here inside you will see some guiding pins, and also wing edges. They will serve as a guiding element as well. So here, for example, you can see that we have slightly recessed wing edges, and here we have slightly raised So they will be interacting together, obviously, and it will be, I mean, more or less easy to combine. The same goes for the rudder, for the elevators, for the tail wings, for everything which is what is separated into two halves. And that's really cool because it might be handy for beginners who are brave enough to assemble 1/32 scale kit. Next, we go on with something what will be needed for sure. Here we have fuselage halves. So fuselage halves come on their own plastic frame. Here you can see that both are molded together with tail section, and external detailing looks really fine. I mean, for 1/32 scale there are no other alternatives that can offer you the same detailing level as here, and I mean, with some proper pre-shading and painting you will get really impressive result. But if we flip it over here, you can see that we do not have any molding in the cockpit. Why? Because all the parts are molded separately, so you have to install them here. And still we have guiding pins which will help you with overall alignment. And note that antenna here is pre-molded, so be careful not to break it, because otherwise you end up with a really ugly result. And attachment points, I mean, I'm a bit concerned about these two because they are on the most visible spots. Other 3 points are more or less fine, so it should be easy to separate it. So be careful while cutting off the fuselage. Okay. Next we go on with separate plastic bag which carries clear plastic sprues, so just give me a second. Here obviously we have canopy parts. Here they are. Molding quality looks really impressive. I mean, I don't have any complaints about this, and obviously with these parts you will be able to open cockpit on your model. That's also a cool feature. And masks, as far as you can see, they're not included here, so you have to be buying some aftermarket set or maybe cutting them with your own hands. Now we can move on to decals. Decals are hidden in the assembly manual, so I just need a second to open it and remove the decals sheet, and I will show it in a second. Okay, so decals sheet is quite wide. Here we have all necessary symbols for several marking options. Note that we also have decals for the instrument panel, some stencils here, no seat belts whatsoever, so only instrument panel will be detailed, and that's quite a pity. I would say for 1/32 scale I recommend to get some PE set, because I mean, this is huge scale model. Even if you will have the closed canopy, still cockpit will be visible through the canopy, and it's better to have it nice. I mean, if you are brave enough to assemble 1/32 scale kit, you should be brave enough to assemble some PE parts inside. Here we have assembly manual, so this one is printed in typical ICM style, so it's a large color printed brochure. We have short history note in Russian and English, also technical specifications and paints chart. Paints chart is given in Revol and Tamiya paint numbers. Then on the next page we have parts map, and note that only few parts won't be used, so basically almost all parts should be assembled together, so be sure not to lose any of them. And next we go on with one of the fuselage halves. That's the left part. You install the cockpit wall, the tail landing gear, then we continue with top section of the cockpit, and here you have to work on the various internal elements. Note that pilot seat should be glued out of several parts. Once again I remind that there are no seat belts included. Next we install all this stuff into the cockpit, and we continue with various dashboards, covers, and landing gear here, landing gear leg. As you can see, it is assembled together with wheel. So here maybe you can place wheel aside and paint it and install it afterwards. I mean, it will be up to you. Next we continue with installation of the machine gun. That's really cool because it's actual machine gun. I mean, it's not just a barrel. So as you can see, it is inserted here. Maybe it will be visible through the cockpit. Next we continue with another cockpit wall. Then we join two fuselage halves together. Here we install the target side, tail surfaces. Here we install the cockpit door or hatch. Next we continue with canopy. So as you can see, there are several canopy types, so be sure to choose the right one for your aircraft. Here we install separately molded ailerons. As you remember, these were designed as a separate parts. What's really cool here is that we have lower section molded as a single part, which will be inserted here, so you won't have seams, at least on the bottom area, so at least something. Next we continue with top wing, again separate elevators, actually ailerons. Here we have the landing gear legs. Then we install the air intake here. We install landing gear legs. We assemble the engine. Again, I remind, spend some time with engine because it's worth it. Next, here we have two assembly options. So I'm not sure what is the difference. Maybe because it will be visible through the open cowling, so I mean you should think how to open it and expose on the assembled aircraft, let's say. Here we assemble propellers, so you have choice between two versions, as you remember. Next we continue with rigging, and there will be plenty of rigging to do on this aircraft, so be ready for this. And this is really cool. So here we have the masks template. I guess that's the first ICM kit which it features this. So you just place this thing on your mask sheet, you cut off the necessary shape and you apply it straight on your canopies. It's really cool. I mean, it's not a separate mask sheet, but still you are covered with this. I mean, if you get the pun. And I mean, better than nothing, and I think every manufacturer should do this from now on because it's really easy. And I mean, now we have such technologies that you can get precise masks for the canopy. Next we have marking options. So first marking option comes from August 1940, another one from 1940 East Africa, and here we have aircraft from Greece, December 1940. And next we have fourth marking option. It comes from France, April 1940. So 4 marking options in total. As I said before, this kit should be already available for purchase on official Model MX website. I'm really glad that they started to include the masks templates in their kits, at least in big scale. It will be handy for sure. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today and I will see you soon. Bye.